It was near the end of a campfire evening behind the guide service in Kennecott. Before Kevlar got up to leave, he asked if anybody was off the next day. He was looking for an adventure partner. Everybody else had to work guiding on the glacier, ice climbs, glacier hikes, but I was off. Or like we like to say, open program. I was 21, it was my second season in McCarthy. I had survived my first year and learned the big lesson that I had a lot left to learn. Kevlar is a human person, but is also an Alaskan mythological being. He's the middle brother of the illustrious three Smith brothers, originally from Connecticut, long arms, long legs, curly dark hair, each one of them bigger, louder, and faster talking than the last. Kevin got the nickname Kevlar from a pair of skis with that name from the Smith brothers' time in Utah, but the nickname stuck because Kev is tough. I walked hundreds of miles in my lifetime of the Wrangell Mountains with Kevin Smith, and he never once got a blister. I don't think dude even gets hot spots. But this was before all of that. This would be Kev and I's first day in the mountains together. And that night before he left, he said, oh yeah, I've been scoping it, looks good, scrambly alpine, up to a cirque type of deal, and maybe some steep snow probably, and to a ridge type of thing, and top of Amazon there, easy down, maybe ice tools could be good. And I gotta take care of a couple things, so I'll see you in the morning, bye. By the time Kevlar says bye, he is already gone. And later on in our adventure partnership, I would come to cherish the brevity of our pre-trip discussions. We knew both of our kits were set, and we were just going to trade off dinners. You're on your own for breakfast and lunch. See you in the morning. But this first night, I did not sleep trying to decipher Kev's route description into a gear list. How scrambly was this alpine? What is a cirque type of deal or a ridge type of thing? Steep snow, probably. Ice tools could be good, maybe. I had no idea what size backpack or what to put in it. Kev showed up in the morning wearing Wrangler jeans, a cotton t-shirt, a baseball cap, and a thrift store fleece he had wrapped around his waist. His backpack looked empty, but he assured me he had ice tools and enough food, and don't bring water, there's water everywhere. I skimmed down my kit and immediately started trying to keep up with Kevin. It was his 40th birthday. I was just under 20 years younger than him, and I was grabbing for tail feathers right off the bat. And we weren't on the trail either. Kev is just in the woods, and then he's over here in the moraine and walking with his arms out, pretending like he's flying. I was trying to be a serious guide this summer, and that was not Kev's vibe out there. It was serious, but it was also a game. Walking through the woods, Kev grabbed a stick and fashioned it into a hiking pole. I did the same. At this point, I'm pretty much mimicking his every movement. We get to the scrambly alpine, and I get to see Kevlar float up a mountain for the first time. He's looking for efficiency, fluid movement, showing me little steps the vegetation is creating, talking about the ideal percentages of dirt, rock, and veg for uphill travel. We get to the top to what can only be described as a cirque type of deal, and see that it's full of fog, curtains of it blowing towards us. I follow Kevlar into the fog, and my boots feel loose on the talus. So I stop to tighten them, but I can't quite get my feet to feel right. But I don't want to lose Kev, who's continued on in front of me, so I just keep hiking. I can see his silhouette so distinct in the fog, his gait, that stick we picked up in the woods. But as I get closer to Kevin, he stops, turns around, and he is 18 years old. Not, it feels like he's 18 years old, not like there's an 18-year-old aura about him. Standing in front of me is 18-year-old Kevin Smith, like he'd been plucked from line at a Grateful Dead show. I feel this hot panic rush through my whole body, head to toe. Why did my feet feel so weird? I pull off my sunglasses to use them as a mirror, and looking back at me, judging by sideburn length, is my 16-year-old self. I look up at Kevlar. He just smiles and says, "Oh yeah," and runs into the fog. My brain is moving 1,000,000 miles an hour. Am I dehydrated? Did I not eat enough food? Did Kevlar dose me when we ate trail mix earlier? Did I never wake up this morning? But all my body wants to do is what it's been doing all day. Follow Kevlar. So I let it. And I run as fast as my 16-year-old legs can take me across the talus. And eventually I gain view of Kevin. He looks over his shoulder and smiles at me. It's just two young kids with sticks they found in the woods running across the side of a mountain. And we get to the bottom of the steep snow that would probably be there. And before I can fire into all these questions, 18-year-old Kevin just turns around, looks at me, takes his baseball cap off, puts it on backwards, and pulls up his ice tools. And it is the coolest thing 16-year-old me has ever seen. And Kevlar starts climbing up the steep snow, and I'm right there with him. And the snow gets steeper and steeper, but we are fueled by the invincibility of youth. We're cruising, we're flying, we're breathing, we're laughing, we're finding holds, we're kicking steps. We get to the top, to this rocky outcrop that can only be described as a ridge type of thing. The fog moves over us, starts to break up. You can see blue skies beyond, the glacier below. Just a couple kids hanging out on a mountain eating trail mix. Kevlar gets up and starts to walk down the ridge, and it snaps me out of this trance I'm in. I want questions. How did this happen? I feel like I'm me, but I am 16. I asked, "Kev, did you know this was going to happen?" And he quickly says, "Oh, no. But I see something behind his eye, and I push him farther. I say, "Did you know it could happen?" And Kevlar just takes a couple more steps on the ridge towards the glacier. He puts his arms out by his sides. He looks over his shoulder and says, "Oh, yeah." And then Kevlar flies off the ridge.